Okay, this is gonna be a long one, so we'll get started right away. Outdoors under the bright sun, when the lighting is very good, in some cases all three phones capture equally good images. Take a quick glance and you cannot really tell them apart. But in most scenarios, that's not the case. You can notice at least one major difference, especially because we are using three phones for this comparison. At least one of them tends to mess up. Like the Mi 10i messes up the colors more frequently than the other two. Look at those oranges. They are just too oversaturated on the Mi 10i's photo. Here the blues are oversaturated. The M51's representation of colors is really good, the most accurate of the three, and more importantly, it's also very consistent. The X7's color reproduction is also quite good, but sometimes it oversaturates some colors, but the M51 rarely messes up. The X7 tends to over-sharpen some images. Look at the road here, it's kind of artificial. Now, as good as the M51 is at color reproduction, it also struggles at something that the other two phones don't. Look at the sky and the building. Well, there is no sky, it's completely overexposed. It's all pure white, no details. The reason for this is the M51 does not have a proper toggle for HDR mode. It uses auto HDR, which means the phone has to identify that a scene requires HDR. Only then you'll get an HDR photo. Quite evidently, in some cases like this, it did not identify the scene properly and it did not trigger HDR. The X7's image is also not perfect, even with HDR on. Now, do note that all these are 12 and 16 megapixel images, not 64 or 108 because of pixel binning. In case you don't know what it is, you can watch this tiny video clip to understand what's going on. But all three phones offer a dedicated high-resolution mode. The X7 and M51 click 64 megapixel images and the Mi 10i clicks a whopping 108 megapixel images, and the differences are quite evident. Just like on paper, the photos shot on Mi 10i are way sharper, no comparison at all. And even though the other two phones click equally high resolution images, the M51's images still look slightly sharper than the X7's images, thanks to better image processing. Also thanks to Glazed Ink for sponsoring this video. Glazed Ink makes amazingly durable tempered glasses for a lot of phones, including the OnePlus Nord, Poco X3 and so on. What's special about Glazed Ink is, apart from a full glue edge-to-edge glass, they also provide a real curved tempered glass with actual 2.5D glass near the edges, which essentially eliminates the awkward gap on the sides which you generally get from installing most other tempered glasses in the market. So do check out Glazed Ink, link in the description. Subscribers can use the promo code TJOCK to get 10% discount. All three phones have ultra-wide cameras. What you can notice immediately is that the M51's photo covers a wider field, but otherwise there are not many major differences between these images, unlike what we saw earlier with the main camera images. These are all more or less similar, except for one thing. The X7's ultra-wide images are not sharp at all. They are noticeably blurrier than the other two. Next up, portrait mode. Well, it's more of a personal preference here when it comes to colors and exposure. I like X7's portrait the most. The skin tones are close to natural. When it comes to edge detection and subject cutout, the M51 does not do the job very neatly. As you can see, there are some blemishes here and there. The Mi 10i does a good job here. Let's now switch to the macro cameras. There is nothing much for me to say here. I'm sure the differences are super obvious to you. The M51 is just way better at this, thanks to the higher resolution sensor. Too much over sharpening going on with the other two images. Under low light, once again, the pictures shot with the Galaxy M51 are superior. They're slightly sharper with less noise. In this case, the M51's image is also the brightest of the three, albeit by a small margin. And when you turn on the night mode on all three phones, the differences remain the same. Both the Mi 10i and the M51 capture really good images. The X7's images have a strong green tint, which looks really bad. At times, the Xiaomi Mi 10i also messes up the colors, but it happens only while using the ultra-wide angle camera. Weirdly, on the X7, the nightscape mode doesn't work at all while using the ultra-wide. There is absolutely no difference in brightness or detail levels. The M51 is simply more superior for low-light ultra-wide shots. Sometimes in the regular mode, not night mode, the mid-and-eyes images exhibit more noise, but they also retain more details. Like you can see the clouds here, and also look at the roof at the bottom of the image. Night mode makes it even better. Onto the front camera now. The selfies shot on the X7 have slightly muted colors. The t-shirt looks more accurate on the M51 selfie. The meet and eye selfies are good for the most part, but a lot of over sharpening can be seen. It doesn't look natural. To be very honest, all of these are minor differences. All three phones capture almost equally good selfies. The one major difference is the meet and eye selfies have a very narrow field of view. The X7 selfies are quite wide and the M51s are even wider, the widest of the three. So, I mean, it's naturally better for group selfies and stuff. Same goes to selfie portraits. They're all pretty good, but the Realme X7 messes up the edge detection more often than not. My entire ear is gone here. It's blurred out. All three phones can shoot 4K videos at 30 frames per second. But again, there is one major difference here. It's the meet and eye's lack of support for stabilization at 4K. Both the X7 and M51's clips are much more stable. Even the X7's clip is not perfect when it comes to stabilization. There is a lot of jelly effect going on. Do you notice it? Let me know in the comments. Maybe it's just me. The M51 does not suffer from such things. Also, when it comes to autofocus, both X7 and Meet and Eye have absolutely no issues. The focusing is really fast and smooth, but the M51 takes a bit of time to focus on subjects, and the transition of focus is also not smooth. However, in terms of quality, you will not notice a big difference. All three clips are almost equally good. Here and there you can notice a bit of oversaturation on the Meet and Eye's clip, but that's pretty much it. These phones also support slow motion video recording at 240 frames per second. The clips look decent and nothing extraordinary. The Meet and Eye and M51 also have a dedicated super SloMo mode, which can do 960 FPS. The quality is just average, even in good lighting conditions. By the way, it's worth mentioning that the X7 does not support video recording with the ultra-wide camera, and I have no idea why. I think every other Realme phone in this price segment supports it. Maybe it's a bug and they'll fix it via a software update soon. Also, the X7 has a few really good options in the nightscape mode, like tripod mode, for which you need a tripod. You'll get amazing low light shots. And then there is a pro night mode with manual settings, and there are 3 dedicated filters for night mode, and all of them look really cool, not like the typical filters we usually see. And similarly, on the Meet and Eye, the camera app is packed with a lot of features. I showed almost everything in one of my recent videos. The Meet and Eye has some really cool things on the camera app, like the clone mode, using which you can get some super cool shots like this. You can even make clone videos, and they look surprisingly accurate. Like, I have no idea how they achieved this. There is also a vlog mode, which helps you create a vlog type video clip instantly, like right inside the camera app while shooting itself. And yes, sky replacement is another cool feature. Sandeep from Revatlis posted a few pictures on Twitter that he made using the sky replacement feature, and trust me, both my editor and I believed they were real at first, at least for a few seconds. So all these modes are very interesting to play around with, and I think we should, give Xiaomi some points for that. So with that, we conclude this 3-way camera comparison. I'm sure there are no confusions about selecting the winner. It's the Galaxy M51, hands down. It's also the most expensive of the 3 at 23,000 rupees versus 21,000 for the Meet and Eye and 20,000 for the X7. I really like the fact that Samsung just worked on the basics, which is nailing the image quality. It doesn't have many fancy features, but the core is strong. It consistently clicks good images, and its ultra wide and macro cameras are just way ahead of the competition. The X7 feels kind of unrefined. Realme had all the time in the world to work on this product, so it's not like they rushed, which is what they usually do with other Realme phones. But I feel the Realme 7 Pro performed better in the camera department. The Mi 10i, on the other hand, actually performs well. It gets a lot of things right, great performance under low light and all that, but it's not very consistent, not very reliable. All of a sudden it gets a super oversaturated image, and also stabilization for videos is really important, and that's missing. So that's my conclusion. That's it. Did you expect this result? Let me know in the comment section. I think I told you last time itself, I really didn't expect a Samsung phone to perform better than a Xiaomi or a Realme phone at a given price point, but it's happening. Anyway, any other video you want to see, feel free to tell us. We'll try to get it done. Thanks for watching. My name is Ashwin Sundar. This is Technology Jock. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.